Are you making six figures but still living paycheck to paycheck? You are not alone, because 62% of people earning over $300,000 per year are still struggling with credit card debt. But here's what no one tells you. Your high salary isn't the problem. It is the 3 psychological traps that are specifically designed to extract money from high income earners. And so in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how to escape these. What's up, everybody? I'm Rashida, and I'm your guide to smart money moves. I began my wealth building journey at 17 years old. I became a millionaire in my 40s, and I managed to do this all on a police officer's salary. So I know that you can get there too, and I'm on a mission to show you the way. So let's go. Now, if you're watching this video, chances are that you are earning good money. You may be making $100,000 a year, $200,000, or even more, but you don't feel rich. And every month you are left wondering where all your money went. But here's the truth. You are a part of a growing group called Henrys. And this problem is way more common than you think. Henrys stands for high earners, not rich yet. And so these are professionals earning anywhere between $100,000 to $500,000 every year, but with less than $1 million in investable assets. The average Henry household spends $68,000 per year just on discretionary expenses. And so those are just things like dining out, travel, entertainment, shopping. And so to put that into perspective, $68,000 is the entire annual income of the median American household, and Henrys spend that just on the fun stuff. And despite all of that spending, many Henrys still don't feel wealthy. And as a matter of fact, the average American says that they need to make $520,000 a year just to feel rich. That's according to a 2024 Bankrate survey. And so that leads you to ask yourself, why doesn't a high income actually equal wealth? This comes down to one fundamental truth. Earning money and keeping money are two completely different skills. Now, the first culprit is going to be lifestyle inflation. This is the biggest silent wealth killer that there is. And so every time you get a raise or a bonus, your lifestyle is expanding to match that raise. And so that $20,000 a year raise you just got is going toward a nicer car, a bigger house, or more expensive dining out on a regular basis. And so you're earning more, but you're saving the same amount or even less. And so let me show you exactly how this can destroy your wealth with real numbers. And so let's take a second to talk about Mel. She is a software engineer who went from making $75,000 to $150,000 in a 3-year time span. Now at $75,000 a year, she was saving about $800 a month, which was 15% of her income. But when she went on to double her salary over those 3 years, she moved to a luxury apartment, she upgraded to a new BMW, and she started dining at fancier restaurants, buying designer bags, going on nicer vacations. And so the result from that is she started saving only $600 a month, which is only 8% of her income now. So even though Mel doubled her income, she's saving a lot less money than she was before. And so if Mel had used what I call the pay yourself first percentage lock, which is increasing your savings by half of every raise, she'd be saving $2,800 a month instead of just $600. While that may not seem like a big deal over a 10-year period, that could mean the difference between having $50,000 and $400,000 saved for your future. And so in that example, you can see that the income is exactly the same, but you're going to have two completely different financial futures. Now, our second trap is going to be none other than taxes. And this is something that people don't talk about enough, because taxes eat up a huge chunk of high incomes. It's one of the biggest expenses that we have in the United States, and people tend to glaze over their tax situation like it's not a big deal, or it's something that's just a fact of life. Yes, taxes are a fact of life, but if you can figure out ways to reduce your tax burden, you're going to be able to keep a lot more of your income. And so if you're someone that's earning $250,000 a year, you could easily lose 35% of that to federal, state, and payroll taxes. And so even with that $250,000 annual salary, you're likely to be taking home closer to $150,000. And so when you go from earning $75,000 to $150,000, you're not just doubling doubling your take-home pay. And so, for instance, at $75,000 after all taxes, you might be taking home close to $57,000. But at $150,000, your take home is going to be around $107,000. And so even though you doubled your gross income, your take home only increased by around 86%. And then there's also a psychological component to this. Research actually shows that earning more money doesn't make you feel rich. Spending it is what makes you feel rich. And coupled with that, there's also what psychologists call the hedonic adaptation. And so that's just a fancy way of saying that you adapt to your new income level. And so what once felt like luxury becomes the new normal. And so that $200 dinner out on anniversary night when you made $60,000 a year, well, making $150,000, you starting to do that every other weekend. Okay, so you see how this can get out of control real quick. Plus, the more you earn, the more likely you are going to be subjected to more intense social pressure. Because as you earn more, you're often going to start socializing with other high earners. And so suddenly everyone around you has expensive taste. They're going on luxury vacations. They're driving luxury vehicles, designer bags, nice clothes, fancy restaurants on a regular basis. Even simple things like grooming and healthcare becomes more expensive. Maybe you're looking at a $300 a month gym membership. Maybe you're going to a nicer barber, hairstylist. You get what I'm saying? And so you are going to feel that pressure to keep up, even if it's draining your bank account. And here's a story that illustrates this perfectly. Now, one of my best friends who's a consultant, he was saving 20% of his income consistently, investing, making all the right moves. And then he got promoted and started working with partners who were making over $500,000 a year. And suddenly his Toyota Camry started to feel embarrassing to him in that company parking lot. And so within just a 1-year time span, his savings rate ended up dropping from 20% to 5% because he was just trying to keep up with people making 3 times as much as he is. And so let me share a statistic that I found truly shocking. 45% of 6-figure earners report living paycheck to paycheck. And nearly 2/3 of people earning over $300,000 a year are struggling with credit card debt today. And I saw a very interesting story on CNBC about this phenomenon. There's a musician who was earning a measly $15,000 per year who started her own digital marketing company. Today, she's making $300,000 a year living in New York. She said that she feels money anxiety more now than she ever did in her 20s. And while she felt privileged, she didn't feel rich. And so that story right there helps you understand what it feels like to be on that treadmill as a high income earner. Now, the next trap is what I call the investment paralysis trap. Henrys believe that since they earn more money, that they need more sophisticated investment strategies. They will spend months researching individual stocks, trying to time the market, or paying for very, very expensive financial advisors. Meanwhile, their money is just sitting in a regular savings account, earning nearly nothing as they try to figure things out. And so let me show you the real cost of this type of analysis paralysis. So here's a Henry that's earning $150,000 per year. They're saving $1,500 a month. They have that cash sitting in savings for 2 years while they research and try to find the perfect strategy, the perfect financial advisor. And then when they finally decide to pull that trigger and invest, they put their money in a fund that's charging them 1.5% in fees every single year on their assets. Now, after about 20 years at average market returns, that person is going to have $485,000 to speak of. Now, let's look at another person who decided to just make their investments immediately and put it in a low-cost index fund with a 0.04% fee. That person is likely to have over $715,000 at the end of that 20-year period. And so that's a $230,000 difference, y'all. And the wealthy know this secret. They understand that in the world of investing, oftentimes simplicity is going to beat complexity every single time. Because the truth is, this simple 3-fund portfolio has outperformed 99% of professional money managers. And so that portfolio looks a lot like this: a 70% total stock market index, 20% international stock market index, and a 10% bond index. If you have a fund with those three things in it, you are very likely to outperform most sophisticated investment strategies. And speaking of smart financial moves, I've partnered with money.com to help you maximize your financial potential. Money.com's mission is super simple. They do things like connect you with top tier high yield savings accounts and smart investment strategies that deliver real results. No financial jargon, just great guidance on how you can keep more of your hard-earned money. Their research team does a phenomenal job to help you understand the world of money better through their expert insights tailored for every investor type. And so head down to any of the links in my description to see how money.com can help you strengthen your financial future. All right, let's get back to our video. Now, our final trap on this list is going to be the millionaire mindset trap. Because the truth is, when Henrys hit their first six figures, they tend to think, I made it, I'm rich, we can afford to do whatever now, baby. That is typically the mindset that happens, especially when that income is increasing at a fairly rapid rate. You're talking 1 to 2 years, and then your income is just drastically different than it was before. And so what's happening is that person is starting to spend like a millionaire before actually becoming a millionaire. But here's the brutal reality, guys, especially nowadays. $200,000 a year does not make you rich. It is having $2 million invested that actually makes you rich. A $200,000 annual salary equals about $12,000 monthly in take-home pay, while $2 million invested at a 4% withdrawal rate equals $6,700 per month. But the key difference is that person with the $2 million can do this withdrawal every single month, every single year for the rest of their life and never run out of money. Because that person that's earning the $200,000 a year is still trading their time for money, and they are one job loss away from financial disaster. Okay, so that's enough about the problem. Let's talk about a few solutions. Now, here are 5 steps that you can take today to start transforming your high income into actual wealth. Step 1, you need to get brutally honest about your spending. So here's what I suggest. Track every expense for the next 30 days. Because most high income earners have never done this because they felt that they've never had to. And so when you go through this step, you might be shocked to discover that you're spending $1,200 a month on dining out or $800 on subscriptions that you don't even use. Step 2 is going to be to implement a pay yourself first automation. So consider setting up automatic transfers so that your money can go into savings and investments before you can have a chance to spend it. And so if you're making $200,000 a year, aim to transfer $2,000 to $4,000 every single month into your investments. And the key is to treat that like a non-negotiable bill, okay? All right, and step number 3 is going to be to make sure you do the work of optimizing your tax strategy. Are you maximizing your 401k, okay? Because in 2025, the government allows you to sock away $23,500 into that 401k. And if you are getting an employer match, make sure you are contributing enough to take advantage of that free money from your employer. And if you're over 50 years old, you get to do catch-up contributions, which means that you can add an additional $7,500 on top of that if you're 50 or older. Now, once you've maxed that out, you may want to get with a professional to see if a backdoor Roth conversion is something that would benefit you. If you're someone with a high deductible health insurance plan, are you taking advantage of things like a health savings account? That has a triple tax advantage, all right? The money goes in tax-free, it grows tax-free, and you get to take it out tax-free for any qualified medical expenses. And if you're self-employed, you want to consider something like a solo 401k or a SEP IRA, or maybe even go as far as a defined benefit plan. These are all things that you can contact a fee-based financial advisor for. That way they don't break the bank, but they can help you to optimize your tax strategy, okay? All right, now step 4 is to make sure you are focused on combating that lifestyle inflation. And here's a simple rule that has helped me just knock my savings and investing out of the park. When you get a raise, you wanna make sure that you are saving at least 50% of that raise to your savings rate, okay? You are going to continue to save at a higher rate with every single raise that you get. And let me tell you what that's going to buy you. First of all, it's going to make you wealthy. Second of all, it's going to buy you a lot more peace of mind because you're no longer having to live paycheck to paycheck. And third is that you are not going to have to work as long as you would have if you had not taken this step. You're going to cut years off of your required working years before retirement if you do this. All right, now step number 5 is for you to shift your mindset a little bit and start to focus on net worth and not income. Stop measuring your success based on your salary and start tracking your net worth, because that is your true report card of financial health. Look, if you're a high income earner and you're feeling financially stuck, you're not alone. If you're not broken, this is a very common thing, especially because the cost of living has gotten so high, which is more of a reason why you have to be diligent about your savings and investing strategies, all right? And remember that the consumer world that we live in is a system that is designed to extract money from high income earners through things like lifestyle pressure, taxes, debt, you name it. Everybody wants your money because you have more of it to take. But now you have the knowledge to start to fight back. And so your homework for this week is simple. Track every expense, set up automatic investment transfers, calculate your actual net worth, and identify just one area where you can reduce your spending without hurting your quality of life. Remember, the goal isn't for you to feel like you are living back in college again, okay? That's not what it is. This is about being intentional with your money so that you can actually build real wealth and eventually have that financial freedom to choose how you spend your time. Being a Henry does not have to be a permanent state, because with the right strategies, you can absolutely transform that high income into real wealth. All right, now, if you found any value in this video, do me a huge favor, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and if you are still here at this point, type the word Henry down in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'll see you guys in the next one. Again, I'm Rashida, and I'm out.